In my short absence from the Sea of Thieves, I got a lot of time to think about the story arc that was begun with Shrouded Islands, and how we're going to be playing cat and mouse with the Pirate Lord, Belle, and Captain Flameheart. Shrouded Islands kicked off this story, but when you think about it, was that really the case? Cast your minds back to June 2021, where we went on a whimsical adventure with Jack Sparrow to stop the evil Davy Jones from bringing an end to the pirate's life. Seems like a pretty clear-cut resolution, with the Dark Brethren being forced to hide in the Sea of the Damned after their plans fell through. Davy Jones wished to join the Sea of the Damned with the Sea of Thieves, which is similar to what Flameheart wishes to do, albeit with different overall endgames. But what really intrigued me about all of this was the fact the Brethren serve a greater lord, the Captain, a figure hiding in the shadows pulling the strings from behind the curtain. We know he originally planned to sail to the Sea of Thieves on the fastest tide should Davy Jones succeed on his endeavour. The Captain looks to be an opportunist, manipulating people to gain the upper hand, which he very much is doing to the members of the Dark Brethren. What was interesting about the introduction of this new storyline is that it is directly as a result of the big hitters watching the events of Calypso opening up the Sea of the Damned, and most importantly, Captain Flameheart has seen a new way to regain his power. We know Flameheart already has some mastery over bridging the worlds, as he can pull ships through with sheer will, and more recently being able to call forth his Thoughts of the Forgotten with no help from us or Belle. As a matter of fact, we made it worse. Belle was also arrived at a convenient time, where she was mysteriously absent from the events of a pirate's life and seemed to turn a blind eye, or at least was just ignorant about the Brethren's plans. As it stands, the Brethren wish to bring an end to eternal life in the Sea of Thieves. Their wishes not only threatened us, but her and the Pirate Lord too. On the other hand, Flameheart's goals are shrouded in comparison to the Captain's, and aren't so direct. So who is Belle? Belle is a pirate legend that's hundreds of years old, is an expert on the Sea of the Damned, and seems to be an old friend of Ramsey's. At least, that last part is implied. What some of you may have missed is that Belle may be a living ancient. If we jump back to Season 4, where we got the fantastic shrines to explore, we uncovered the origin of the Sirens, the Whispering Plague, the Siren Queen, and Sea King. What we also learned was how the Sirens were defeated. While the Ancient's greatest warrior became the Sea King, the Ancients slaughtered him for upsetting the balance in the Sea of Thieves and because they feared his immense power. The Ancients suffered badly in the war against the Sirens, since they no longer knew how to fight, until a new warrior swam into the sea and swore she would not return until the Sirens were defeated. Lo and behold, the warrior found a way to force the Sirens into a slumber. However, her victory came at a terrible cost. She became afflicted with the curse of sunken sorrow. In turn, she chose to sacrifice herself to prevent the spread. Conveniently, the season after this lore bomb is dropped, enter Belle, Legend of the Deep. Makes a lot of sense, right? Hundreds of years old, she knows more about what's going on right now in the story than she's letting on to. Not to mention, we look to be dealing with an ancient artifact in the very next adventure, which Belle seems familiar with to even name it for us, the Veil of the Ancients. It's very likely that Belle is a living ancient, and I would be very surprised if this wasn't the case. What I personally struggle with is, why now? Why care so much about Captain Flameheart when we were moments away from oblivion nearly a year ago? Here's when our old friend, the Captain, comes into the picture. The first we hear of him is when he cursed the Servant of the Flame, causing him to become a Skeleton Lord, with an ambiguous outcome to his fate. We never find out if Flameheart Jr. does choose to serve him or not, especially now we know he's working to bring his dad back from the Sea of the Damned. Roughly at the same time, we see our two main legends gearing up for a war for the Sea of Thieves, each with a brand new assistant at their side, helping them along with their magical arms race. I am no means saying either Belle or the Servant of the Flame are working with the Captain, or the Dark Brethren, but you have to wonder, is he pulling the strings again to decimate two of his biggest threats to dominate in the Sea of Thieves? Think about it. The Captain will only strike when victory is assured, which is part of his cunning. He fixed it for Flameheart Jr. to end up on that mysterious island, created the riddle to lure him in, and curse him with the chalice, or maybe the water from the fountain. He has the influence to do such things, and he wouldn't join the rest of the Brethren unless Jones had secured victory for them, and when that didn't happen, he slinks back into the shadows to weave another plan. If he were to enter now, he would have to deal with a Pirate Lord who still has many followers at his side, mainly us, who could defeat the Captain, and a renewed Captain Flameheart who is on the verge of regaining his power, which is imminent. Why risk taking on two legends when you can have them wear each other down and swoop in for the easy victory, especially when he lost one of his biggest allies in Davy Jones and the Siren Queen? It would certainly make sense too, as if we are to decide the outcome of this conflict, then one side will likely have to come out on top. only for the brethren to steamroll us, with the hope that the Pirate Lord can stave off the captain. Does Ramsey have the strength to do that, especially after a war with Captain Flameheart? Or do we allow Flameheart to regain his power, someone who has not only bested the captain before, but could also guarantee his destruction through sheer hatred alone? They are both arch enemies, but Flameheart is almost certainly the bigger threat to the captain's plans. If we are to choose the outcome of this, it is my belief this is where the conflict will come from. The devs have plans to make our choices difficult, and as it stands, we're just working for the good guys, or traditional good guys at least. We would do well to remember the captain looms in the wings, waiting to pounce at the opportune moment to rule the Sea of Thieves.